Louisville was 31st in the AP poll voting last week. A bunch of teams in the bottom of the poll have already lost this week. Have they done enough by winning against Syracuse and beating Virginia at home to get themselves back in the poll?
They got a shot. I mean, I'm talking the only poll voter. I should be asking you that.
I voted for them last week.
Where are you going to put them? They got a shot. Are they one of the 25 best teams in the country? I don't know. And we're not going to really find that out until the postseason, when maybe they get another shot at Duke in the ACC tournament. And obviously the NCAA tournament, the ACC just doesn't offer them that kind of measuring stick from here on. Although this next game will be one that tells too when they go to SMU. But they're certainly playing better. They're more physical than they were. They've learned a lot of lessons through the hard knocks they took early in the season. They've adjusted to the injuries. There's nothing not to like about them.
Yeah, you're right. They win the games they're supposed to win. This game was they didn't trail for a second against Virginia. And they look clearly like a better team than Virginia. As I mentioned before, this is the first time they've swept any ACC team, the ones they played twice in a season, since Duke back in 2021. That's a big deal. And the crowd, we need to talk about the crowd. 18,233. And what was different about this EC was that they came to see Louisville. They didn't come to see Virginia. We've seen big crowds in recent years. They came to see UK. They came to see Carolina. They came to see Duke. On this day, they came to see Louisville. Yeah,
they did. That was Mike Peguese's first game. You know, Chris Mack had quit, and he was back as Duke coach to go against Duke in his first game, and I think the crowd kind of showed up to show its support. But since then, we haven't seen a crowd this big. I went up to the upper deck, which has been empty for a couple of years, and there's a good number of people up there. So that's a pretty impressive showing. The other thing I'm impressed with on the court, we talk about, you remember the Tennessee game, you remember the Ole Miss game when it was just really physical and Louisville wasn't there and able to compete. They now competed against a Virginia team that's very physical. I don't know whether they're up to Tennessee or Ole Miss level, but they've adapted to that style of play, and they've become a really good and physical defensive team themselves. They didn't have a great three-point shooting game today. They were 6 of 23. They shot it well early and then didn't make many more in the game, but in the paint they scored 38 points. At the free throw line, where they got to frequently, 23 of 27. Those are hard-nosed points that you had to get against a team that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, and Rain Smith has become a tremendous crowd favorite. You saw the students in the end zone wearing his favorite hat. I looked it up. He is first in the ACC and third in the country in made three-point shots. He's now made 68 on this season. And when he sets his feet, everybody in this building expects it to go in, and then they react to it.
Yeah, he's already made a lot more threes than Sky Clark, the leading three-point shooter from a year ago, had 47 all season to lead the team. He's got, like you said, 68 this year, 19 points for him today. And Terrence Edwards Jr., who has kind of become a defensive guy, really, and he played great defense, expended a lot of energy in the first half defensively when Louisville got out to that good start. It wasn't a really fast start. They made some threes early, but Virginia was hitting too. I just thought they were really tough defensively early to get a pretty quick double-digit lead, and once they had that, they were kind of able to dictate the game a little bit, and they did. James Scott keeps getting better. He had a double-double today. You should mention him, 12 points, 10 rebounds. So, fun stuff for Louisville. Now we get to see if they can go to SMU and keep this 8-game win streak going.
Interesting week. They're off until Tuesday night. They play a 9 o'clock game down in SMU, which is a tough place to play. It's a smaller arena. The crowd's right on top of you. And SMU was blowing out Miami on Saturday. And then the Cards have the rest of the week off. They have an open weekend next week. Their next home game will be against Wake Forest. We'll have coverage of Louisville all the way through the week and the rest of the season. Just stay here at WDRB.com and click on sports.